Hello, welcome or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz. I will be guiding you on this journey. I just wanted to introduce the tarot deck that we're going to use today, and also the, I guess we can call it an oracle deck that we're going to use. I don't really have anything else to say other than, of course, thank you so much to those who are participating in the 333 readings. I am still offering those. The details of that is in the description. I think they're so cool. Like every single one that I have done, like the cards that have come out have just like so perfectly gone together. I don't know. It's awesome. But thank you so much to those of you who have participated in that. And I hope you're all, holding up okay. I know we have an eclipse this week on the 3rd, which is actually tomorrow, March 3rd. It's literally happening right on top of my 3rd house Virgo moon. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I hope these messages reach near and far, I mean, I always do, but maybe I have a little bit of an oomph from that. Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, the tarot deck that we are going to use. Ooh, and this is actually the first little tarot bag that I got from, you would think that I would actually have it like pulled up. Okay, rude. I don't know. I don't have it in front of me. I'll put it in the description though. The little tarot bags. They're so cute. I have like 3 of them so far. But anyway, we're going to be using Pastel Dreams for the tarot deck. And then I have Mudra's deck that we're going to be using for the Oracle. I don't know, I pulled one of these cards for me this last week, and it was like so perfect for, and I shuffled the same way that I always do until a card came out, and it was so perfect for what was like on my mind, and the hardest part is just remembering to do it, like a couple times. But there's, of course, the mudra on one side, and then on the other side is information about that. So I'll read that to you, and I'll also include a screenshot of it for a couple seconds in the video, just in case you want to also take a screenshot or dude, whatever. Okay, let's get into the readings. Great. So this is a reading for the 2-5 human design profile, the Hermit Heretic. If you don't know your human design profile, there is a link in the description for you to get your human design body graph, and your profile will be listed in there. That's funny because literally, like when I shuffled the cards after the 2-4 reading, like when I went to pick them up, this card was at the bottom of the deck, but it like stayed on the table, and this card was then at the bottom of the deck. So that's kind of funny. The Hierophant and the Lovers. And the King of Wands, and then the 10 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Dang. Also, this is a progression 5-6. Okay, and let's get your mudra, which I have been reading the mudra at the end of the reading, because it's like kind of cool to see how it ends up like fitting into the reading, and it has like every time. Hi. Okay. Just one. Okay. Ooh, this one says priorities. Set them. Okay. And it looks like it's like this. This could literally be marriage, the Hierophant and the Lovers. But it can also be some sort of commitment to a practice, a modality, you know, like a program, even like the Hierophant is traditional institutions. It's also, and by traditional institutions, that's like church or, you know, even college, school, you know, tradition as far as like society or cultural or even, you know, like your family traditions. But it's also like passing along knowledge, because that's what those things are as well, right? Like when we go to church, like they're literally just sharing the words of the Bible, or, you know, whatever sacred text that they adhere to, you know, like in their religion or in their beliefs, you know, which is like, you know, and most times like just passing along knowledge and those teachings and values or morals or, you know, whatever. Same with institutions or, you know, like work, like we can even think corporations, right? Like, or jobs. When you get a new job, like there's usually some sort of training there. And it's usually, of course, like given by somebody who already has the expertise or the experience, and they're teaching that to you. Again, same with school, like there's professors or you know, even just taking some sort of course, like there's somebody who has experience that you want to gain, right? Like you want to learn from them. There's also even like a community aspect, but also, you know, like there's indoctrination and sometimes a rigidity in those things. Like even with human design, dude, like there are people who just, I mean, follow it to a T. Like, you know, Ra's, you know, teachings or his seminars or, you know, speeches, whatever, that lectures, that's the word that he's given, right? Like people just, whatever he says goes, right? Like there's no nuance or like there's not a ton of gray area in there, right? And I'm sure your fifth line is like, yeah, right. Like, you know, like try to get a fifth line to follow tradition. Like it's just not built in, you know, for a fifth line, which is the beauty of the fifth line as well. And it's interesting, right? Because, okay, on the one side of the Lover's card, we have the Hierophant, which is rigid and trained even. Contained could be a word used for that. And then on the other side of the Lover's card, we have the King of Wands, which you are not going to tie down the King of Wands to one thing. Like the King of Wands is the entrepreneur of the tarot. Like they have to have creative freedom. They have to be able to express themselves in whatever way, you know, like comes through for them. There's confidence, there's passion, there's motivation even, right? And once we get to the king, it's like it's drawing in on all the experience that they've accumulated throughout the suit of wands. And it's knowing what to do with that. You know, it's being able to draw in on that, and it's having creative solutions, and it's putting their passion into their work. You know, it's being an authority, but it's more I want to say flexible, but like what would be a good word for like fire? You know, because the Hierophant is Taurus, that's earth, so that's more grounded and practical, versus fire is going to be, you know, snappy, like sparky, I guess. Get a Taurus to move when they're not ready, type of thing. The King of Wands will move before they're ready, because they're like, well, the answer will present itself. We'll figure it out by doing, right? And in the middle here, we have the Lovers, which is literally a choice. I mean, like I said, at the beginning, it could be marriage, because, I mean, you know, Lovers, the Hierophant, this could be like a traditional union. There could even be a decision about that too. Like, I mean, that could be part of your decision about what type of relationship you want to cultivate. But the Lovers is more about choice and decisions. I mean, sure, you know, like, of course, it's called the Lovers, you know, so that's why everybody tends to go towards relationships, like, you know, romantic relationships. But it's the divine masculine and it's the divine feminine. And it's, you know, the balance between the yin and the yang, right? It's the balance between those things. And it's deciding which of those things to draw upon. It's also coming to a conclusion that is in balance. So again, I mean, like, you could be trying to figure out like how to marry these two energies together. Like, how do you work with a Hierophant while you are the King of Wands? Or how do you be the Hierophant in an environment, or, you know, with people or whatever that represent the King of Wands? And the Lovers here is like, you know, figuring out how to make those two things come together. Or even too, like, what is the thing that actually aligns with you better? Have you been one of the two, you know, like your whole life? And that's just what you know. That's also too probably part of your conditioning. But at the same time, you're like, I see myself more in this expression, whichever one. You know, again, like there could be two different people here. This could be something that is like happening within you. This also like even feels like having some sort of like honest, like I keep looking at this picture, and it's almost like having an honest conversation with somebody. Like, let me hold your hand while I tell you this, you know, like type of thing. And I mean, Taurus is the throat, or, you know, the mouth. The Lovers, or Gemini, is like the arms and the hands. So, you know, both of those things could be true. And it could be, I have this passion, I have this desire that, you know, like I want to do this thing, or I want to live my life in a particular manner that is, again, just more in alignment with my own personal expression, however it deviates from tradition, you know? And we have the Ten of Cups, again, you know, at the bottom of the deck, Five of Swords, Judgment. Look at all these like major arcana cards too. The Ten of Cups could have been like what you were, again, indoctrinated, promised, taught. This is, you know, what you should want. This is maybe even what you do have. I mean, the Ten of Cups is like the minor arcana card to the Sun card. It's joy, it's bliss, it's purpose and fulfillment, family, community. And then the Five of Swords being on top of the Lovers card. This is a breakdown or a deviation from in beliefs. Like there's some sort of breakdown or just not breakdown, but like some sort of difference in beliefs. I mean, you could feel like the Five of Swords to me is a battle of wits. It's the thoughts card, ideas, beliefs, truth, honesty. I always see swords as being the suit of ego as well, because our egos tend to live in our mind, or we tend to hear them, I should say, in our minds. And our ego is created by the stories that we attach to experiences, circumstances. It's conditioning, right? And that becomes our belief system. That becomes how we live our lives. It's the filter that, content of our lives goes through, and then it kicks out a story about our reality. And that can change as you get more information, or as you grow and as you decondition, right? But there's these two other people here that maybe they want to hold on to that. They want you to hold on to it, because there's this idea here of being overly prepared with these three swords. This card can also be like a win at all cost type of thing. Like it can be just not being open to receiving other perspectives. Because it can be like, I've made my mind up and you're not going to change my mind type of thing. And even like having to defend your belief system, or even like if it's a new belief system and you're just like trying it on, I mean, this could be like I was raised Catholic. My parents are Catholic. I went to Catholic school for 8 years and then did 2 years of like confirmation classes. And I knew in like third grade that religion was not for me. I just remember like being like, what is this? And absolutely not, But, like when you're a kid, right? Like, I mean, you have no choice. You have to participate in those things, right? But the older that I got, like, I stopped going to church. I just kind of stopped, being available to like attend church. And when I got married, my dad wanted me to have a Catholic priest, officiate it. And I was like, no. And I had to, like actually have the conversation with him that I don't consider myself to be Catholic or religious for that matter. And I'm not sure if I went so far as to tell him I don't believe in God. I don't know if I went that far, but I'm like, this is like 10 years ago too. So, I don't know exactly, but I just remember him being like, well, like you were baptized Catholic, like you'll always be Catholic. And I'm like, that's what you believe, like, I don't believe that just because I had some like water poured on my head and like oil maybe too, and a priest like blessed me that I am forever Catholic, but I was like, that's your belief and that's fine. I'm certainly not trying to change your mind, but I am sticking to my guns on that though. Like, like I'm not going to have a Catholic priest officiate our wedding. Like neither one of us were religious, So, it could be something like that. It doesn't have to, of course, like, I'm just saying, there could just be something and you're breaking away from that. Like you're making that decision. And again, like I'm going to hold your hand while I say this. However, I'm also sticking to it. This is something that I am exploring. This is something that is true for me, and my beliefs around it have changed. And then even like with a judgment card, so perfect. This is like almost literally choosing to be the King of Wands. Like this is like literally choosing to almost like create your own destiny type of thing. The Judgment card is about like transformation, but it's the card that comes before the World card. So it is that space where you make a decision to leave something behind, to change, and not just a measly little thing, right? Like this is some sort of like universal change in your, this is also Pluto. So it's something, again, that has been in the process for a long time, because Pluto is a generational planet, right? It stays in a sign for 20 years. So it's not something that just happens overnight. Like this is something that you have been on some level, you know, like conscious of making changes to, deconstructing, which is, again, like a big part of human design as well. And you get to a point where you're like ready to make the change for the rest of your life. That Michael Jackson song, I'm gonna make a change. For once in my life. What'd I say? For the rest of my life? I mean, hey, you know, I feel like that fits in there. It's gonna feel really good. Gonna make a difference. Gonna make it right. What is that? The Man in the Mirror? So yeah. And also there is support down here too. You know, it's like you could find, I mean, of course, you know, like these people are asking to be saved, really, because, you know, I mean, in the biblical sense, I guess, it's like Judgment Day, you know, type of thing. And, you know, these people down here are like, I deserve to be admitted into the kingdom of heaven, you know? But it's taking stock of your whole life, you know? It's taking stock of the path, the journey that you've been on, and what's different for you. How do you want to proceed forward? What do you want to leave behind? You know, patterns, behaviors, thoughts, beliefs, relationships, ideals, you know? What has changed for you? And what do you want to focus on going forward? And we have the Eight of Swords at the bottom of the deck then. And then the Nine of Swords behind that, which is interesting. An interesting like progression there. Is this like flowers on here? Kind of looks like little bouquets. The Eight of Swords is a self-inflicted mind prison. This is like did I do the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? What if? You know, like the self-inflicted mind prison is like literally feeling, it's like you're one decision away from changing your mind. But it's like, it's staying in the cycle of doubt or fears or insecurities or even just limiting beliefs too. But also like there's so much information to be found in the Eight of Swords, because what is that story? What is coming up for you? You're going to lose everything. You're going to lose everybody. You're on the wrong path. You're whatever, you know, whatever your story is. Like Brene Brown calls them gremlins. Shame, guilt, all that shit that's like coming up though, right? Like it gives you an opportunity to be like, is that my story, or was that, I want to say, I almost said forced upon me, but like, you know, like was that an idea that was given to me? Is that a belief that was given to me or taught into me, right? And it's allowing yourself to say, no, like that's not true for me. That's not something that I believe to be true for me, for what's possible, for my life, for, you know, going forward. And then you get to decide what is true. If that story is not true, then what is the truth? If that limiting belief isn't true, then what is true? And it gives you an opportunity to, again, to like change your mind, change the story. And you can do like as many times as you get new information, right? Then things can change. Your beliefs can change. Your truth, like whatever, right? Like you get more information. You continue to decondition. You continue to, go within and discover more about yourself, right? And the more that you become this King of Wands, the more truth comes out, the more, passion and desire and creativity that maybe you knew was there, but you're like, wow, but it could kind of put you into like a little bit of a spiral. So, just take it easy on yourself. And again, like be really aware of the shit that's like coming up in your mind and allow yourself to sit with it. Because it's also like there's a grieving process with that, because that's something that you subscribe to for however long you've been alive, or for however long, right? Like, even though I'm in 3rd grade and I'm like, this isn't for me, I still, like went through the majority of my my whole childhood, like in that environment and being influenced by all of it, right? So like I still had to decondition it, and that Catholic guilt like still comes up and all that shit, so it's like, again, just being hyper aware and being like, is this true? Where did this story even come from? Also, like, we're talking stories that like we created when we were kids with very limited information. And now we're adults with way more information. So we can shift the perspective on things, that's like inner child work and like reparenting. Oh, I haven't even priorities, set them. Time mudra. Can you see this okay? This mudra reduces stress, gives inner strength, and steadies the nerves. Time is our most valuable asset. If we consciously set priorities, this helps to avoid time pressure and or gives the day a certain structure. You are sitting in a grotto in front of a pond. At regular intervals, a drop of water falls from a stone into the water. Observe how the circle of wavelets spreads outwards, further and further. In the same way, a single, apparently insignificant priority, which you have deliberately set yourself, can have far-reaching consequences and become the start of something momentous. Nothing is too small to be of no importance. I kind of love that. I love that. I feel like that. Here's a picture of the mudra again, if you want to take a screenshot of those. I feel like that fits into the reading really well. It's like small things can add up to big changes. And nothing is insignificant, I love that. All right, I'm leaving it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.